We made it. We're live. Hello, and welcome to episode 19 of the Devotional Drip, where I come to you from the new Angel Loft. I used to have a space in my old home that I called the Angel Loft that was once my office, and now in an upgraded Angel Loft, except we just moved in literally 24 hours ago. So you're getting some move in energy transmitting through the screen today, a big in process energy, which honestly I think is great because the energetic portal that we're moving through right now astrologically is very much so about giving ourselves permission to be in process. So I come to you in my authenticity, my bathrobe over here, my desk totally not unpacked yet. And I'm so excited to share a little bit more about this space with you in weeks and months to come. My prayer is that this becomes a space where I can create all kinds of beauty with the Blood, Bone, and Honey community. So I will speak more on that in another drip, but today I just want to get to it since we're starting a little late. Hello to those of you who are joining us live. Feel free to say hello in the chat box. We had a little tech witchery issues today, so we're just gonna be patient with the stream today. I am streaming from the top of a mountain. I can already see that the videos may be lagging a little bit. So let me know in the chat box if you can hear me. And if we have to start over again, then we are surrendering to the divine process. I'm going to give our live stream, just a moment to catch up here. There we go. Okay. Let me know if you can hear me. It's not lagging much. Okay, great. Let me know if it becomes an issue. I was almost thinking about going live on my phone. Nice, top of the mountain. You got it. Yes. Okay, so welcome to episode 19, where we are talking all about birthing your authentic self-expression. This is a invitation that is on the altar for so many of us right now, and to really get in touch with like authenticity and authentic self and self expression. These are all such buzzwords that we hear a lot in the wellness space, in the personal development space, in the coaching space, in the healing space, in the embodiment space, in the space of exploring spirituality and spiritual practice. So today we're going to explore like, what does authentic self-expression mean to you, and how do you relate to authenticity and truth on a somatic level, on a spiritual level, on a human level, and on a divine level? What do authenticity and truth mean to you? We'll also explore the textures of resonance and vibration. I'm also feeling a lot around physical and energetic hygiene being a part of our exploration today. And thank goddess the video is no longer lagging. So we're going to just keep it nice and slow and steady today. I love that energy for us anyways. If you're joining us for the first time, I'm just going to give you the download and then also share a little bit about an upcoming program that the cart is officially open for today. So those of you who are always here, hang tight, and I will be sharing some details about this program that has been brewing in the honeypot. And I know some of you here have been waiting to hear this, so I'm excited to share it with you. So if you're joining us for the first time, the Devotional Drip is a free higher self-embodiment and personal development coaching series for visionaries, creatives, leaders, light workers, entrepreneurs, pretty much anyone who's here on planet Earth and has an intention to awaken to their fully human, fully divine nature, embody the spiritual truth of their higher self in the somatic reality of their human body, create heaven on earth for themselves and all beings. That is who this is for. So if that is you, welcome. And The intention of this series is to support you in igniting your personal, sovereign, direct, nobody needed but you higher self connection. Nobody but you is needed for this higher self connection. That's what sovereignty means. To be sovereign does not mean to be separate, it means to be a self governing state. So, to govern the state of your being, to be the directress or director of your temple. So this series supports you in igniting that sovereign connection with your own higher self presence, your higher self being a primordial presence of peace, of power, of divine love that is constantly and ever flowing from the heart of the source, this well of nutrients, this well of wisdom that you always have access to. So in this series, I support you in igniting and really harnessing and honing in on that connection, so that from that connection, you can bring all of that juice and that wisdom from within you into your outer expression as you start to shine at new levels of authenticity and empowerment and embodiment and trust and um, resonance with your higher self across the altars of your personal and professional life. So, in the Blood, Bone, and Honey Coven, the babes who join us here, we have big personal lives and we have big professional lives, and we have all encompassing divine purposes. And we are mystical and we are magical, and we are remembering how to live from that after centuries of oppression and being killed for being magical, for being sovereign, for being intuitive, for being wise, for knowing that ultimately we are the medicine, we are the healers. And what a threat that is to a system that would seek to oppress and control and dominate us at every corner. And that's very present on a collective level right now. So, in this space, we claim our sovereignty and we bust through domination on behalf of our own sovereign expression and on behalf of the sovereignty of all beings. So, we are here, we are taking up space in our peace, power, and magic. You're welcome to bring your familiars to join. And I always encourage you to have a journal, because when I channel these messages, these are for the Blood, Bone, and Honey Collective as an entity, and also there may be specific messages coming through for you. Not everything is going to resonate. Some things may hit, some things may not. So if you can bring a journal and just let yourself record as I'm speaking what really resonates for you, what really hits for you, downloads that you're getting while you're listening, then every week after the drip, you're going to have your own little personal higher self embodiment medicine map for your week, where it's like, this is what I'm focused on. This is where I'm going to give the currency of my attention and awareness. The currency of your attention and your awareness. Where are you giving the currency of your attention and awareness? Are you plugged in and clear about what you're tending to within you and outside of you right now? Are you present to the ever evolving invitation of the now moment to meet what's in front of you, perhaps with more breath, more magic, more possibility, more potential than you ever have before? Oh, hello, loves. I see you dropping in the comments. It's truly so lovely to have you here live with me. Thank you for choosing to spend some time together here in the Emerald, which is this new space that I am tuning in from, our new home. And like I said, I'll talk more about this space in drips to come. I'm going to be rolling out some session spots for immersive branding and boudoir photo ceremonies that we'll be doing in this house and then all around the magical woods and waterfalls that surround this space. And P.S., there's a sauna. So if you want to come make some photo magic and take a sauna for business or pleasure, feel free to let me know in the comments and we can connect after. I haven't released those sessions yet, but I'm planning to in the next week or two. Okay, let's get into it. So, you know what the deal is. We're on the drip. We're doing the thing. You've got your journal. Today, we're talking about birthing your authentic self-expression. And we got all the animal allies on the altar. The animal archetypes and allies and guides are really present for me right now, like very specifically. Let me know in the comments if that's coming up for you in the chat. Have you been feeling particularly akin to animal allies? Have animals been showing up for you as symbols and signs? We have quite a few coming forward today from the Wild Unknown Animal Spirit Guidebook by Kim Kranz. This is a well-loved book of mine. It's very crinkled and loved up and has been wet and been lost and been found and traveled. This is now, how many houses has this been in? One, two, three, four. This is its fifth temple space. So this is an old one for me. And it's really, it really feels special to be pulling cards and reading energy from this book today. Jess says, I'm feeling flamingo lately. Birds are big for me. Oh, interesting. The flamingo came up for me recently too. What was that in relationship to? It was like flamingos lived somewhere and I couldn't believe that flamingos lived there. And I was like, flamingos live there? But now I can't remember where it was, but there was some message around like resiliency that was coming forward and being able to survive like different kinds of weather patterns and conditions, and the flamingo as a guide for that. Jess, I would love to know if there's specific wisdom you have to share with us about the flamingo on the altar. No pressure, but if you want to share what that brought forward for you, would love to weave that into this reading because we are co-creating, y'all. Done is the era of the hierarchy, you know, like we're all the leaders, we're all the healers, we're all the guides. And as a guide, the position that I take is I am a guide that is guiding you as you guide yourself back home to your own heart. So that's how we're sovereign relating in this space. That's the new feminine economy. Not to say like feminine equals women. I'm talking feminine as an energetic principle. I'm talking, as my teacher Nina so eloquently puts it, going from this like lingam, linear, hierarchical, tower-like structure to that thing flipping on its side into more of a spiralic nature, where now we're relating heart to heart, eye to eye, brain to brain. Gone are the ivory towers. So that is really the blueprint for the blood, bone, and honey space. So please, if you're on the drip and you ever want to drop in with your wisdom or, oh my gosh, like this is what was coming through for me, like use this as a space to like activate your intuition and share. And we're going to be talking about the voice today. So we will always celebrate you here and all your wisdom. Just as I found the flamingo to come up in moments of feeling like myself. How aligned with this drip. Oh, wow. I love that. Yeah. Beautiful. So thank you, Jess, for putting that on the altar. Alignment with the truth of who it is that we are. Before I go into all these cards, speaking of my truth, I did say I was going to talk about this 7-week program before we got into it. So I'm going to mention the program now. We're going to do the energy and oracle card reading. This is Wiggins. If you've never met him, this is my baby. And then I'll talk a little bit more about the Devotional Dance Coven, which is the 7-week program at the end for those of you who are interested. And I did try to put the description in the chat for those who are live. It will definitely be there for those of you on the replay. But if you go into the description in this chat, you'll see a link to the 3-day devotional dance party, which replays. I'm going to keep those up until Sunday. I was going to take them down yesterday, but today we officially hit 50. I'm like, what is on my wrist? I casually just have my Mother Mary necklace on my wrist from like last night. Anyways, we have 50 people officially in the Devotional Dance Party private Facebook group, which was my goal. So in celebration of that, I love celebrating. I'm going to keep the replays up until Sunday. So that gives you this whole weekend to tap into those like 7 to 9-ish hours of embodiment teachings, movement invitations. There's an epic playlist. So that is linked in the description below, the 3-day devotional dance party. And then the Devotional Dance Coven, which is our 7-week sacred movement journey and higher self embodiment group mentorship / advanced practice group, because we will be getting together live weekly to practice together. And that is going to be kicking off in 10 days on the eve of the Scorpio full moon lunar eclipse. So we're going to kick off on Sunday the 15th, have an orientation ceremony, and then Monday, which is on the full moon, we're going in, y'all. I tend to really love Scorpio energy. I'm such a fan of the labyrinth. I'm such a fan of the path. I'm such a fan of the journey and sort of the spiral down to then create the momentum to spiral up. So if you are ready to go underground and emerge anew and really dance with your own self-discovery, stay tuned to the end of this drip and I'll talk more to that program. I'll speak more to what we're doing over the 7 weeks and a little bit more details. If you want to just go ahead and check it out, link right here and you can check it out while I'm giving the transmission. All right, let's get into our cards for today. So birthing our authentic self expression, a topic I'm very passionate about. That's how it's feeling in my body right now. And maybe before we even talk, let's just give like a moment. Like give some voice to anything that you're feeling energetically right now. If we're going to talk about the throat, then we're going to talk about translating images and emotions and channel into vibration. So what vibration do you need to emanate from you right now in the form of resonance? Give yourself another maybe like feel around in the voice. Like, is there a certain sound you want to make from the bottom of your belly? Maybe it's like a inhale through the nose. Maybe it's a low sound. Maybe it's a maybe you've been reading the news and you have some sacred rage and you need to just like fucking roar it out. Give yourself some space and make a sound. That's how we're going to start today out. And we're going to get right into our first friend coming forward, which is the black egg. So this card has been such a friend for me on my journey. Let me know if you know this deck or this card in the chat. The black egg is ever pointing to the temple of our throat and speaking the truth and finding our authentic voice. And in order to do that, we need the breath and we need to give ourselves permission to speak slowly and intentionally. And to give ourselves enough time as we're translating whatever channel we're tuned, there's infinite channels we can tune into, right? Like which channel on the radio are we tuning into? And we need to give ourselves time and space to adjust to the channel that creates the resonance in the body that then allows us to speak from our higher self truth. So I'm really being guided to the radio metaphor here and thinking about like when you're turning the dial on the radio and you're picking up static and like the patience it requires, especially on a radio with a lot of options or maybe a radio that is old, like you're operating some old machinery. Maybe you're in some old neural pathways and you're working on some self-talk that you've historically struggled with, or you're working with a belief that has been particularly tender for you. It's like giving yourself permission to find the resonance of your channel and speak the truth about what it is that you're actually experiencing. So when we're in the black egg, you're being invited to examine where are you in a habitual speech pattern? What are things that you have habitually said about yourself or about the nature of reality that feel outdated and are having it's almost like having the computer. Now we're like computers and not radios. We just roll with the metaphors here, y'all. The computer of your being, we talked about software upgrades on the 3-day devotional dance party. The computer of your being is now running slow because there needs to be an upgrade. It's like trying to run this old code, but the old code no longer has resonance and it doesn't match anymore. So when we're in the black egg energy, there's this self permission to evolve our speech, evolve the way we talk about ourselves, evolve what it is that we believe, and then the way we speak about those beliefs. It's a sovereign call to really investigate where we are just regurgitating things that we've heard versus what our truth actually is. Because I was thinking about authentic, and right now I'm very into like, what are we talking about? There's been so much commodification around self-care and wellness and healing that all of these words, like I said, have become buzzwords. So it's like we've heard the term authentic self-expression, but what does authenticity actually mean? And I would love if you want to share your definition of that in the chat. You're totally welcome to. When I was meditating on this earlier, what I was brought to was like original, one of a kind. And the way that we can be original and one of a kind and also part of a whole at the same time. We can claim, and honestly, it is part of the highest good of all beings for us to claim the highest good of our authentic self-expression. And when we show up in that resonance, we are quite literally creating ripples through the collective and we are impacting the greater whole. So our work in devotion to the collective is in direct relationship to our relationships and how we're showing up there and what that looks like. And also, we are born with ourselves and we die with ourselves. This is always going to be the primary relationship. And I think it's time to marry the parts of our consciousness that have said, if you are in your authentic self-expression and truth, then somehow that means that or if you're in your self love practice, if you're in your self devotion practice, if you're in relationship to your higher self, if you're standing in your sovereignty, if you're really claiming all of this, that somehow means that you can't also have the community and the connection, and there has to be a separation. And I just feel all of that wanting to get wiped, like a windshield wiper off the car window. And when you show up in your authentic resonance and expression, you quite literally will start to magnetize in other beings who are also resonating, vibrating on the same frequency. That is how we find each other. I love your vibe. We say that like, I love your vibe. Oh my God, I love your energy. Like that is so real. We are dancing with each other through all of the senses, right? Including our energy. And one of the cards here actually specifically points to that. So anchoring into the black egg, give yourself, see that pause I just gave myself? Give yourself more time and space before you speak. Let's this week just explore being in relationship with the spoken word and the gift of that. And I'm feeling that there's a lot of writers and artists that are going to tune into this specifically. So if you are a writer and you write something profound in your journal, I'm going to invite you to then speak that out in some way. This week, we are activating the spoken word. And if speaking your authentic truth to someone else, I'm feeling like there might maybe be some boundaries that need to be set, some real conversations that need to be had. This is a time of like endings, death leading to rebirth. That's all over these cards that we're going to get into in a second. So if you're meeting an ending, or you're meeting sort of a mile marker, it's like that. It's like the conversation that gets had or the thing that gets said that changes the course. Give yourself loving permission to practice activating your voice in relationship to your own being before you enter that space. Write a rage letter. Look at yourself eye to eye, heart to heart in the mirror and speak your truth. Create space in your practice to activate your voice. Dance around on the 3-day devotional dance party and really activate your throat and bring sound in. If you've been needing to sing a song recently when doing chores I felt specifically resistant to recently. I think probably because we're moving and there's a lot of shit to handle. I've been singing. I've just been singing songs, and I've been like connecting to, some songs that I've learned along the path in ceremony and in community, and also just sort of letting my channel kind of fly free and singing to my dog while we're on the walk in the woods, or singing while I'm doing my laundry, and just sort of letting whatever needs to come through. And song and dance and spoken word and writing, these are all really powerful ways to support the activation of our throat, because um through these creative practices, you're shifting your internal vibration. You're connecting to your higher self. You're connecting to your light. You're connecting to your channel. And maybe you're also connecting to your shadow self and the darkness. And you're letting yourself go to the spaces and places within you that feel deeply intimate and private. And then creating from that space, creating beauty from that space, creating truth from that space. What level of intimacy are you ready to surrender into with your own voice as a vehicle for consciousness? One more thing about the black egg. I was in a guided meditation with my teacher, Nina B, of Centering Life. And it was in one of her mindfulness courses, which, by the way, if you're looking for mindfulness support, or you need some asana or yoga support, Nina B of Centering Life, yoga teacher trainings, my teacher of many years, friend of many years, so grateful for her and her wisdom. So she was leading us through one of her epic yoga nidra journeys, and the way that this woman has just taught me how to let my bones float, and remember that the ground is here to hold us up, and that we belong, or we wouldn't be here. All of the medicine of her teachings. She had us in a deep yoga nidra, and we were in the throat, actually. And I think actually we were in an investigation of truth. And I had this visualization of the whale's mouth. Like my mouth then became like the whale's mouth. And then the mouth became like the birth canal. Like the mouth almost looked like a vagina. And I was like, whoa, the mouth as a birth canal. This is epic. And I just want to offer that as a visualization for anyone who needs to create some spaciousness, a meditation of visualizing your mouth as a birth canal, visualizing your mouth as the mouth of the whale, and letting yourself get big up in here. Maybe even in this moment, you just want to like massage your jaw and your neck and your throat out. I feel like there are, how do I want to translate this? If there are any like swords you feel in your throat that you have put in to silence yourself over this lifetime, or have been put into you to silence yourself over this lifetime or past lifetimes, this is the moment to start taking those out and really experimenting. Like we talked about surrendering to divine process and letting go of the programming of perfectionism. That wasn't last week because we were doing the devotional dance party. I think that was the week before. So last episode 18. And something that wants to come forward too is like permission to experiment and fuck up and say the wrong thing and try again. And like ask for forgiveness and ask for grace and ask for feedback. And a lot of times, if a lot of folks I work with, including my own heart, have survived a lot of intense trauma, specifically in relationship to their embodiment and their self-expression. And a lot of times when there's been harsh or critical feedback around that, there can be a resistance to giving ourselves permission to play around a little bit. And also, like, I'm hearing like live on the edge, like be on the wild side, like stop playing it so safe all the time. Like We can create safety in other ways. We can create safety through our breath. We can create safety through the right to pause. We can create safety through the right to set boundaries, the right to close a portal, the right to say, you know, I really just need some time and space to think about this, and I'll get back to you when I'm clear. And giving ourselves and other people permission to take space and to take up space and to fall and to rise and to try again. Like, we just need a whole lot more self permission if we're going to bust open our throat chakras and embody our higher selves. And this is the dirty work. This is the shadow work. This is the moment where you allow yourself to invite to the front of the table, to the mic, baby, to the mic, parts of you that haven't gotten the mic before. And see what happens. See what happens when you show up with a little more permission and a little less self judgment. That is all over this reading. So that you can reconnect and recalibrate breath to breath the vibration that you want to translate. Who are you as a translator? Who are you as a channel? What is your channel here to give to the world as an offering? Let it be an offering and it will never feel like work. Okay, the vulture. This is how I feel about the vulture card. Speaking of authentic self expression. So, I love that the vulture is coming forward. First of all, vulture is like very flamingo like. Let's just say that. So, hello, flamingo. I feel like the vulture is the shadow aspect. It's literally my spit. The shadow aspect of the flamingo. It's just like, here we are. And the vulture is actually the overarching guardian card that I pulled for a group mentorship program I did back in 2020 called the Devotional Priestess. And similar to the devotional dance coven, we went through many higher self embodiment activations into our peace, power, prosperity, pleasure, um, play, and prayer. And on the way there, we had to meet the vulture at each portal, at each new hedgestone, at each new initiation. And the vulture is the ultimate guardian and purifier that is essential for rebalance because it reminds us that the dirty work um, and the purging work is actually some of the most exciting parts of this human journey. If we didn't have to do the dirty work, then our soul contracts at this time would look really different. If you're here on planet Earth right now, you're part of the cleanup crew. It's going to take at least 100 years to birth a golden age out of the age of destruction, the age of Kali Yuga, the age of the tower crumbling and us. And the illusion that we're separate from source and that we have to earn and prove our worthiness and our right to be loved and our right to be supported and our right to be abundant. All of the proving is crumbling. And that means if that's crumbling externally, right? The proving and the hierarchy and the towers, and there's some pushback, obviously, as we're seeing, like the systems as they stand are gripping to their last pathetic breaths of power, trying to control and dominate what we do with our bodies and how we are in space. And I'm just not here for it. I'm just not here for it. The transmission of blood, bone, and honey is not here for it. And that applies across the board for all the things unfolding on the